It's True Culture on We Act Radio, and it's time for the Tap In with Miss Emone Jones.
Hello.
Man, I'm so glad to still have you here with me.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a good day.
It's been a pleasure. All of the topics are great.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that. And you are the director and lead instructor
Yes.
of Legit Swim Aquatics Education Program.
Yes, that's what Legit Swim. Well, first, let me tell you what the acronyms stand for. People don't realize that Legit is actually an acronym, and it stands for Learning, Exploring, Growing, Innovating, and Transforming.
I like that.
So it's a whole mission. It's a movement, and it's geared towards making sure that everyone who wants to know how to swim can.
That is amazing. And we need more people out here dedicated to teaching our youth survival skills.
Yes.
Because it's extremely important in survival.
I agree.
You know, so for people who don't know, explain to our listeners, what is Legit Swim and what is your mission?
Okay, so Legit Swim is an aquatic program that is targeted at inner city youth to build basic swim skills. Now, it's not just, strokes, floats, and breath control. I also want people to know about water, about hydration, about the water cycle, about fishing, about sustainability, because nothing is sustained without water, especially on this planet. And I wish people would start connecting how much water is a part of our daily lives. So that's what Legit Swim is here for. But our main focus is to provide programs for people to learn how to swim.
I'm so glad to hear that, Emone. I mean, water safety is super important.
Yes.
And to have an advocate for water safety is even more important, because without you advocating, the youth won't even realize these things.
It's
the
really
elders
frustrating.
need to advocate.
It really is. It's literally a minority gap.
Yes.
When I learned how to swim, I didn't have a black instructor. Most of the people who are competitive league didn't have black instructors. And what people don't realize is you learn a lot better from your ethnicity, or you have more of the opportunity to learn when the people look like you, sound like you, feel like you. There are a lot of ailments that black people have when it comes to swimming. ADHD, as they love to say in the school systems, fear, inherited fear at that.
That's been instilled since we were, before we even knew we were who we are.
Exactly.
They've been instilling fear in us about swimming. Stay away from the pool.
Exactly. Get away from that water.
Yeah, get away
Don't
from that water.
Don't let that water go in your face. And it's sad, because all of this stops us from being able to protect ourselves from water when 80% of the world is water.
Also,
we're surrounded.
To actually go to the beach and experience the water, go to the pools and experience. They're taking away experiences from us.
Exactly.
It feels great to be in the beach. It feels great to be
you feel
in the
free.
pool.
Like it's weightless. It's the closest you'll get to Mars on this planet. And sorry, that's me. But
I agree with that, though.
Okay,
thanks. It is.
I just feel like ultimately there are so many things that black people face when it comes to the water. We need more of us to teach us. It's hard to get the same learning from someone who's not, a part of our community.
It's funny because when I was coming up, I don't even recall seeing like black lifeguards really. Maybe here and there, but I don't even
because they can't swim. You got to know how to swim to be a lifeguard.
True, which is why we need to learn how to swim.
Exactly.
So now, how old were you when you learned how to swim? And were there any hurdles that you had to, overcome in learning how to swim?
My mom had me enrolled in Mommy and Me with her in Laurel as a baby. So I started swimming as an infant, and I joined the swim team in Seven Oaks in Arundel, Maryland, when I was about 6 years old. And I stayed on the swim team until I was about 11. Then I moved to D.C. shortly after that, and I said, I don't want to do it competitively anymore, but became a lifeguard when I turned 15. So I just could not stay away from the water. No matter how far I tried to run away, it just kept bringing me back. And I've literally been in the water since I can remember.
You are the lifeguard I wish I had when I was coming up. We need people like you out here at the pools. You know, it's I can't really describe the feeling because it's been so long ago, but I know it was awkward. And it didn't feel good to look around and not see anybody who looked like me who could possibly save me.
Are they even watching me? Right.
Well, my thing is, are you even going to go jump in this water to save me?
You know, so you don't have the conviction behind you. You assume that because you're foreign to them. Yes. You know, you're just a body in the pool. You're not their little sister or their little brother. Yes. And that makes a big difference when it comes to life saving.
Right. But when you're a kid growing up, you see things and you're experiencing them, but you're not really thinking about how deep this rabbit hole is going when it comes to these topics.
Exactly.
And now that I'm older and I've done my research and I've learned things, and I'm like, wow, you mean to tell me that the stereotypes and the myths associated with black people in swimming
has really stopped
come from as far back as the mid-Atlantic slave trade.
Exactly.
I mean, as early as the Jim Crow era.
Exactly.
And it's literally fear that's being embedded in us so that we'll continue to be good slaves, because a slave who can swim
is not a good slave.
And a slave who ain't afraid of death is not a good slave. So
that's no money.
So we have to let go of these fears that have been embedded in us, because I promise you, none of these fears are real.
And it's not easy. Just knowing that there is no risk with swimming once you learn. Once you learn, you're good. You see? And I wish more people would take advantage of swimming as a means for mental health too.
It is so relaxing.
It's great for anxiety.
Exercise.
It's great for anxiety. I learned that. I used to be a preschool teacher as well for about 5 years. And water play, we would literally fill up a water table and just put like little play fish or whatever in there. It will calm the most rambunctious child down. That can also be translated to adulthood. Wow. If you suffer from anxiety, which is one of the reasons I love to be in the water.
Most of us suffer from anxiety. I do as well. You know, a lot of us do because of the fears that were embedded in us when we were kids, and we don't know how to deal with all of these things.
Like,
and
a lot of us
don't
have access to the best psychologists or the best mental programs to help you sift through your emotions,
or close friends
that you can trust,
great family members that we can talk to and go to and really count on for sound advice and to be loving and understanding to our emotions. Exactly. We do need to do that more for each other.
We do. Really but if you don't have those outlets, the water is a perfect place to channel those overwhelming emotions. Yeah. And I've learned that time and time again. You know how so many people come to the pool stressed out and leave all of their stress in the pool. Like, literally, it comes out your pores. And I feel like more people should take advantage of that.
It's a release too.
It is.
It serves so many purposes. It does. For us. And then if we think about how many black people would be winning Olympic gold medals for swimming.
Right.
I mean, we would dominate that sport too. I'm pretty sure we would learn how to swim.
Speaking of Simone Manuel.
Yes, speak on Simone, please.
African American woman to win an individual swimming medal at any Olympic Games. Okay.
Now let's repeat that. At any.
Okay. She Olympic became the first. Okay. This baby isn't even 21 years old
Not
yet.
Even.
Okay. Then we have Reese Whitley. 19-year-old young man, and in 2019 he was named the 2019 Pac-12 Men's Swimming Freshman of the Year.
Give it up to him. Simone as well. I'm loving. I haven't heard these facts before, so I have to give it up to them.
You got to check out this movie called The Black Line. It was a documentary that was also Emmy nominated, that was released in 2016, and it highlights some of the people I just named and how they did a great job at paving the way for, young black swimmers.
I have to check that out. That sounds very interesting. Of course. Now, I want to ask you, Emone, what inspired you to teach people how to swim?
Well, like I said, my background comes from child care and aquatics. I used to be a preschool teacher for about 5 years with kinder care. And before that, I worked for DC Department of Parks and Rec as a lifeguard for about 7 years. I got lots of certifications water related, but I never really wanted to stay with those departments or those companies. And my mom died. My mom passed in 20.
We're sorry to hear that.
Thank you. She passed in 2015, I believe. November 2015. And the following year, I started my business. And what I did was take my passion for swimming, teaching, and how my mom always took me to the water. Like, we always traveled. We were always in the beach. We were always in the pool. I just combined my love for her and my passion for other things into my passion for teaching others how to swim. And at first it was a means to get out of depression. Like, I got to do something. I can't just sit down or I'm going to like explode or implode. So I just started going to the pool, and I met people and they were like, can you teach me? And I'm like, sure. At first it was free.
Right.
And then a lot of my old clients that I used to work with at Kids First Swim School, I worked there for a couple years too. They're like, hey, you still in the water? And I grew from 2 swimmers to about 150.
Wow. And how, and what
it'll be 3 years this September.
Wow. So in 3 years' time,
I've grown from 2 little babies, a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, to 150. I've taught 150 swimmers, ranging from about 6 months to 100 years old.
That is amazing. Now, do you know off the top of your head around about how many of those students that you have are Black?
I would say roughly about 70%.
That is amazing. I'm so glad we
target
have you,
the Black
we
community
out here.
And I would love to make a way that these classes are free, because no one should have to pay to save their life. And even if it's just 6 lessons, you know, I'm not saying you're getting lessons for your whole life now, but I feel like these classes should be offered in a way where money is not a issue. And
I agree.
I still have a lot more, I have a lot of other ethnicities that look for my classes than Black people. Like, I literally have to go searching for my Black clients, but they're out here and I'm not giving up.
I didn't learn how to swim till I was grown.
Go you.
And honestly, I still don't trust myself in the middle of the ocean. Like, I'm not sure if I'll be able to. It's so funny because on one of the cruises that I went on, a lady fell off the boat in the middle of the ocean. She was drunk, partying the top deck with her friends, and literally fell off of the boat into the ocean, into the middle of the ocean, right? And this was at night.
Nobody could see. The water's dark.
Her friends waited like 20. I guess, I mean, they were drunk, but still, that would have sobered me up quickly. They didn't even know she was gone for like 30 minutes. Thankfully, by the grace of God, she knew how to swim. And it took about 3 to 4 hours to go back and find her. But they sent boats to find her, and they actually found her.
Because she could swim.
Drunk? And she was drunk.
Go her.
Her, right?
Because dark, I'm sorry, I would have just been gone off the shock, and I've been swimming my whole life. Falling off of a cruise
in the middle of the ocean.
Oh my god.
That was a lot there.
But you see how vital it is to know how to swim. Yeah. Because if she didn't have those skills, she would have been done, okay?
I feel like she had more skills than just knowing how to swim to handle a situation like that.
She was a mermaid.
The most important skill she had, we for sure know she knew how to swim.
Right.
And she was a strong enough swimmer to at least tread water,
float,
long
survive
enough
until they came back to get her.
And that's the most important thing, is to at least buy enough time for somebody to come and rescue you.
Right.
And if you don't have that skill, I mean, if someone doesn't know how to swim, you fall in the middle ocean, you're going straight to you're done.
Right.
They're not going to they probably never find you, because, you know, all the animals out there, all the marine life.
I'm sorry, you're shark bait at this point.
You are shark bait at this point, and that'd have been an ugly situation for the people who loved her. So, like, I'm saying this because it's something that I've experienced firsthand. And
that you never know. You never know when a water emergency will happen. There are floods, okay?
All the time.
Depending
on where you're at.
Cruises.
When I left, I was in the Cayman, and literally 48 hours after I left the Cayman, an earthquake hit it. 48 hours. So, and I say this because it's like we don't know the timing of events,
right?
Catastrophic,
but
events,
you have to be prepared.
But you have to be prepared, and thankfully, I wasn't there.
Right.
But if whoever was there, the people who are there, the people who are still there touring and visiting, if you don't know if you don't have certain survival skills, and you in situations that could be catastrophic and fatal.
Hate to say it, that's life or death. It's literally life or death.
Life or death. Now, I know they had the 33rd annual what is it called?
Black History Invitational Swim Meet.
There you go. Did legit? Please tell me legit swim attended.
So we observed. We're kind of playing the backgrounds at this point because it is a very prominent and popular event. You have lots of vendors, you have lots of swimmers from all over, and it's targeted for the Black community to showcase that Black kids do know how to swim. Right. And this has been going on for 33 years. So we didn't participate yet. I'm trying to figure out whether I want to have my own swim team or whether we're just going to volunteer and participate with the swimmers that are swimming, because there are over 15, I think this year was about 28 different teams that were there. Okay?
And how many people? A swim team consists of like, what is it, like 20 people?
Anywhere
right?
from
15 or something?
It can be 5 kids, to be honest with you, but it can go as far as about 30. I think that's the most that I've ever seen on the swim team. Yeah. I'm sure it can become more than that. Now, all of these swimmers might not race. You see, it's all based on times. Mm-hmm. If their times aren't qualifying, they won't race. So say you have 30 swimmers and only 7 of them are placing, then you only have 7 swimmers.
Okay. So it's more of a numbers game to make sure you have enough to win.
Swim teams from all over the country to come to Tacoma. And they've been doing this for 33 years now. And when I used to be a lifeguard, we would participate. We used to love it because Speedo would come and they would sell the best swimsuits. And like, you would just hear some of the best swim news. It was just, it's a really exciting swim event, especially for young Black kids that don't get the exposure. Because, you know, other ethnicities probably see stuff like this all the time, but we don't see events like this. So it's really cool that we have one in our own city.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. The first time I heard of it was like not even a year ago. And that's sad. It really is, because I mean, I used to love swimming when I was younger, but it was still a fear. I'll be honest. It was still a slight fear in me from my parents all the time telling me to stay away from the water. So even when I learned how to swim, I never challenged myself.
Right, you never fully let your guard
go
down.
all the way out there. Like, I'm not about to be in no 30 feet of water. But one day I will be in 30 feet of water. But I have not
gotten there yet.
I have not gotten there yet.
You got room for growth.
And
it's
I can't
okay.
wait
That's
till
what
I
we're here
get there,
for.
though.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm definitely going to be a legit swim. Don't worry. I'm gonna be right up.
You just have to build your confidence. Okay.
Yes.
The more you're in the water, the easier it is. Okay.
Now, and to add to what you were saying, I feel like the only way to reduce and eradicate the stigma associated with Black people in swimming is to talk about it like we're doing right now.
Exactly. And to give people access to it.
Yes.
For example, I have a couple programs that I would like to highlight. NABS Divers, they were established in 1991. It's the National Association of Black Scuba Divers. I'm also in partnership with them as well, because sometimes people want to know, how do you apply these skills? Yeah. Like, what's the point of learning how to swim? What next? You can become a scuba diver. You can be an underwater photographer.
And Black people, we were the first scuba divers. And it's sad that they've taken this away from us, but we're going to bring it right back to the community.
Sure can.
We're bringing it right back to the community.
NABS is a great program that you can join. They also have a youth divers club in case you have any children that are interested in aquatic knowledge. You have Tacoma Park All-Stars, the DC Wave, YMCA, the DPR, Department of Parks and Rec. These are all great outlets for aquatic programming if you're looking for some local programs to, explore.
I'm so glad. Shout out to everyone you're affiliated with, because I already know that you are truly dedicated.
Thank you.
To helping everyone, but especially our youth.
Yes.
Because
in our community.
In our community, for sure. Now, what do you think African American parents can do to inspire our children to swim?
model the desired behavior. Stop using your fears as their fears. Okay? Yeah, I understand drownings are very real. Actually, one of the leading causes of death. Yeah. But the reason why that is because you're so afraid. Yeah. Start facing these fears, parents. Face them on your own. And then just, show your child. But you've got to face these fears, because what you're doing is you're perpetuating this fear from generation to generation to generation, and all it's doing is creating more drownings in our community. Yeah, so it's either you face your fear, or you're basically fostering another drowning.
And we say these things, but we still understand of where the fear comes from.
Right.
So any parents out there listening, any grandparents out there listening, look, we understand, but it's 2020.
You got to start somewhere.
We got to start somewhere.
The world is 80% water, and I keep saying that because you can't escape it.
What is it?
80% water. Everything is 80% water. Everything. Okay. So when you look around and you see water everywhere, you got to have the skills to protect yourself, or you're automatically at a loss.
Yeah. But when you're dealing with systematic racism, right, and you're dealing with generations of this, right, it trickles down to us, but we still have to understand where it comes from and how we can eradicate it, because we don't want to continue to deal with these stigmas and deal with these fears. So, based on your experiences and research, why do you think there's racial disparities in swimming ability?
Money. The poorer you are, the less likely you are to learn how to swim or even visit a pool.
Real talk.
Okay? Yeah. You have to realize that swimming is a specialized sport. Okay? You're not just born knowing how to do it. A lot of the times instructors will tell you, oh, it's natural. It's natural. It's also natural to be afraid. So it kind of contradicts that. Yeah. So learning how to swim is specialized, meaning you have to have somebody with a certification, and this person probably requires quite a bit of money in order for them to teach you. Mm-hmm. In the Black community, that is not going to happen. Yeah. Okay, why? We need Jordans.
We do, and it's crazy because they flipped it on us though.
Ruth Chris and
everything that doesn't have any value.
Teslas. Yeah. We need things
that don't hold
value or save lives. Okay.
Right.
So I hate to say it, in the Black community, we don't realize that it's just as important as paying your utilities.
Yeah.
You see, if we would start looking at learning how to swim and other basic skills.
For sure.
It's not just swimming, of course, but if we would start looking at swimming as just as important as those utilities, then people will realize that it's a necessity and it's not an option.
For sure. And it's to add to what you were saying about the finances and having to pay for things, it's like that's structured to be that way, because back in I know more statistics than I do. So I'm pretty sure you'll help me out with when I'm speaking on this. But I know that back in the day, I think it was around, like you said, 50s, right? You said 50s earlier. I think it was around the 50s. And when they were using fear of Black men.
Of course.
They used the fear of Black men and attacking white women for everything.
Right.
Every law they created against Black people, they tried to act like this law had to be passed because Black men were running rampant in the streets and sexual deviance, and they were raping white women and all of these lies, right? But the fact that we actually used to swim together back in the day, like that long ago, and to know that they purposely segregated. As we're fighting to be in the pools, they picked up and the white folks left the cities and they moved us to the suburbs and say, cool, y'all go ahead and keep fighting for these pools.
The association with our skin being dirty,
Right.
Our complexion wasn't, melanin, it was dirt.
It was dirt. Right.
So that's really where that came from. Back in the day, a lot of the times they tried to say that we weren't really cleanly for whatever reason. They wouldn't eat off the same, dishes. They wouldn't be in the same pool. So in their mind, they were trying to keep, the pool sanitary.
Which was a total lie. What they were really trying to do was keep
us from swimming.
Black men away from their white women. They didn't want Black men to be in an intimate setting,
right, with
white women,
right,
because white men felt like they could possibly lose their woman.
They probably could. They
felt insecure, and it's sad when you're dealing with insecurities and fear, especially when you're dealing with them at the same time, right. Because what happens is a lot of ugly things come from that. And to know that we were just happy as can be, peaceful beings, having fun, splashing around, trying to be in the pool.
Right.
And then here you guys come segregating everything and breaking it up. And then we're fighting to be in the pools. And they figured out a way to restructure.
Right.
And that's exactly what they did. They picked up the whites that were living in the cities. They picked up the move to the suburbs, and we both know that when you're in the suburbs, especially in an affluent neighborhood in the suburbs, the chances of you having access to a pool is probably far
easier, far more easier. See, I grew up in the suburbs. There was a pool every 2 steps.
And they're private, so now they can control.
Exactly.
Now they can control.
If you were not a resident of
access.
That neighborhood, there was no swim for you.
Right,
okay,
right.
And pools might cost, but they were maintained, and they had equipment, and there are probably programs that you can participate in for free. These are not options in the inner city or in impoverished areas. The pools are not even maintained a lot of the time.
They stopped investing when
they're not
white people
correctly.
picked up and moved to the suburbs. They stopped investing in public pools. The government stopped investing in the public pools. So by the time Black people regained access to public pools, there weren't any. And then the ones that were still there, they were not well kept.
Right.
So fast forward to the day to this year, 2020, in modern times, it's like we have I think it's 9, 10 million, 11 million pools, private pools in America, but we only have a quarter of a million public pools.
That sounds about right.
Those statistics alone speak volumes to the racism that we're dealing with, the systematic racism that we're dealing with here in America.
That access is power.
Yeah.
Or lack of access, should I put it, is power. And if you don't have access, just like if you don't have access to good libraries, will you be well read? Will you know anything? It's means of control. Put it out of reach. Chances are you'll never pick it up. But we got news for them.
We definitely have news for them. It's no more acid. Now, let me ask you this: Do you know about now I know we just brought it up, but this one part of it is the most horrendous act you could ever do to someone in the pool. Pouring acid and bleach in the pool.
That historic picture of that hotel manager in New York.
Yeah, to get people. No, I think that was in Florida.
It might have been Florida.
I think that was Florida.
It might have been.
I think it was St. Augustine.
Mind you, this happened plenty of places.
It happened plenty of places. So let's just say it was New York and Florida and a few other places.
But I will say that it was desperate measures to get the Black people out of the pool, and they've been doing this from the beginning of time, just trying to find any way to scare us out of what's rightfully ours. I hate to say it. We deserve to know how to swim just like anybody else.
Every human deserves to know how to swim. This is not a civil rights issue. This is a human rights issue.
But the fact that we're talking about this in 2020,
I know. I mean, history will continue to repeat itself
until we make a change.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I just want to take this time to give a shout out to the good white people. The good white folks, our good white sisters and brothers
support us,
who came and got in that pool. And not only did they get in the pool with us, but they were the reason why we were there. The rabbis were white, and they acted like they were coming to the pool, right. And they scheduled it and all that. But when they showed up,
they showed up with
a bunch of Black people, and they all jumped in the pool and they were splashing around having fun. And then the owner of, I think that was a hotel actually. I can't recall the name of the hotel, but the owner, of course, he was racist. He came out and he started pouring acid in the pool to make everybody
with his sunglasses on.
And of course the police, right, with his sunglasses
trying
on.
to be incognito.
And of course the police come and try and arrest everybody and do all this crazy crap. And they just restructure. When will we get to the point where we restructure what we're doing?
I think that's today. I feel like that's what I'm slowly a part of. Mind you, I didn't start it. We have other great programs, like Black Kids Swim in New York. They're dedicated to just connecting all the swimmers nationally. Afro swimmers, like there are so many organizations even before me that have started to reframe this whole Black kids can't swim thing, because it's killing us.
It's really good to hear that.
It takes a team, you know. It's not just a one-man band here. We have people, crusaders from all over that have taken it, you know, a personal responsibility to make sure that everyone around them can swim, or at least have access to a pool to explore swimming, because it's not an overnight process.
Yeah, and it's not an easy process once you reach a certain age either. Right. So I think the point you made earlier about children learning how to swim at a young age is very important.
It eliminates that fear. They don't even get a chance to develop it.
Children are fearless, aren't they?
Exactly. And so I love them. I love them at that age. It's like you tell them something and it just grows from there. But
yeah. Now, you mentioned a few programs that you guys offer at Legit Swim. What other services do you offer?
Our general program in that that everybody's interested in are our private classes. We have one-on-one instruction, and our classes are about 45 minutes. It's customized. What we do is we provide a lesson plan each class, and it meets the swimmer where they are. It doesn't tell you, oh, you have to do X, Y, and Z. It says, if you did this, then it's time to do this. And one-on-one, we have paired lessons, we have group lessons, we have water aerobics. We also host aqua parties for
that
young.
Sounds like fun.
It's so cute. This is a program that I started maybe a year ago, when one of my swimmers had a birthday party and they needed a chaperone, and I'm like, I should start doing this. And they've become a lot more popular. If you have young swimmers and you just need someone who is AED and CPR certified to make sure that they're having the most fun that they can have, that's another program that we offer. So make sure to check out our website at www.legitswim.org, and you can view all of our programs there.
I'm so glad to hear this. I mean, I didn't realize you guys offered so many services.
Yes, and we'll keep growing.
Not just swimming, you guys.
No, not just swimming. This year, this is the first I've been announcing it. We're also going to start selling some merchandise like bathing suits and other pool gear like goggles and swim caps, so that we can start raising more funds for our programs and equipment. Yeah. We would like to reach a lot more people, not just in DC, but all over.
Well, I love your name. You definitely have a legit name.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, our hope here at True Culture is that swimming, learning how to swim, is something that will be available to all children.
Right.
So they can gain a lifelong, life-saving skill.
Exactly.
You know, so that's why we're really, really honored and so happy for you to be here, because this topic, I'm gonna be honest with you, we don't talk about swimming too much.
Enough. We can never talk about it enough. You know? And I just appreciate you for having the eye and the ear for something so vital, because some people just look at swimming like, oh, swimming, she's in the water just splashing around. But it's important, because this is an area in our community where we don't really have that much coverage. And if we have more eyes and ears out in the field, we can do a lot better.
Yes, it takes a village.
Takes a village.
Yes, it does. And we have to get back to the village. Now, what do you have planned for Legit Swim in the future?
So our goal is to open up a Legit Swim pool, but it's going to be, let's say, a sports and learning center, where we don't just offer swim lessons. We want to have a whole fitness, nutrition, like trifecta, because it's mind, body, and soul. Our whole program focuses on holistic teaching. So if you're going to teach swimming, it's going to be the whole body of swimming. And if I'm going to offer swimming, I want to offer the whole body. It's not just the swimmer. It's how that diet is. It's what you do when you're not in the water, when you're on land. And I want to create a safe space where we can explore all of that stuff in one place. So that's the goal, that one day we can break ground and we can have a space where we can offer these programs in our community in D.C.
I dig that. And you know what? I know that will happen.
Oh, it will.
Because the way you guys are manifesting these beautiful things in the community, I know that's going to manifest one day soon. With True Culture definitely supports anything you guys do.
Thank you. No, we appreciate your support. And we're happy to be here. Like, we couldn't do it without you. There's no way we could reach all of the people we need to reach without, platforms like yours. So,
and that's why we're here. And that's why
thank you for creating
it. That's literally why we do what we do.
Exactly.
To highlight people like you who are actually out here, boots to the ground, and really out here making positive changes in the community and educating people in the community, because that's what's going to produce positive changes.
It's going to make a difference.
Yes. Now, for our listeners out here, because I know now they're geared up, they're excited about Legit Swim, and I know they want to support you.
Right.
How can they support Legit Swim?
Well, you can visit our website, again, at www.legitswim.org. You can book a lesson. You can set up a call so that we can discuss our programs or discuss a consultation, because who knows if you want to learn how to swim or if you want to lose some weight. I'll let you know what we have to offer. You can pick what works for you. You can also check us out on Instagram at Legit Swim or on Twitter at Legit Swim NDC.
I'm so glad. I can't say this enough that I'm so glad you're here.
Well, thank you.
I don't even recall sitting down with someone and talking about swimming before I met you.
Oh, I'm a first. See?
Yes, you are my first. So
I'm very excited about that. Okay.
I'm more excited than you.
Please,
I cannot wait to be at Legit Swim.
I was gonna say, please send all of the non-swimmers our way.
Oh,
okay.
For sure. And I'm gonna be there perfecting my skills.
Yes, because you got a condition.
I'm not playing with y'all, and I got I could probably knock off maybe 10 pounds.
See, you can always tone.
Yeah,
you don't have to lose any weight, but you can tone.
Well,
it's great cardiovascular health.
Yeah.
We have plenty of things for you to do.
And it's fun.
Exactly.
We cannot forget how fun and relaxing and how releasing it is. We just had BTF Clothiers here, our last show, and BTF Clothiers is dedicated to eradicating the stigma associated with mental health.
Okay.
And to know that Legit Swim, what you're doing, you're advocating for mental health,
just
because
giving you an outlet,
providing a service that will help people to release the negative energy that they're
without a diagnosis.
Exactly.
A lot of the times people get caught up in that. Oh, I gotta go to the doctor. Like, sometimes you just have to do something.
Yes.
Okay, and something that's worthwhile. And I got a couple ideas.
Yes. So, I want to just take this time to leave this on a positive note.
Of course.
We've had a lot of positivity here today, but we leave every show on a positive note. Now, when you begin to thank the universe for your buttons being pushed, then and only then are you ready for the next level.
Amen.
Because at that very moment, you'll realize that there are any buttons at all.
Right.
There are no buttons at all. Just buttons we're creating with our minds that are extremely superficial. And I say this because today we speak on a topic where it is surrounded in fear, and it's something that is deeply embedded in us. And I just want you guys to know that fear does not exist. It only exists because we believe it exists.
Exactly.
And it's natural to be afraid, but it's you got to knock that fear. You got to knock that.
That's step one, fear. Okay?
Yes. So please contact Legit Swim if you need any help conquering the fear of swimming.
Or if you just have questions.
Sometimes questions,
it starts with a discussion.
Right. Anything. Please, and give them your Instagram. Give them all your contact information one more time.
Our Instagram is Legit Swim, at Legit Swim. You can also check out our website at www.legitswim.org. You can also check us out on Twitter at Legit Swim NDC. And you can also shoot us an email. Say you just have a general question about programming. You can reach us at legitswim365@gmail.com. Again, my name is Emone Jones, and thank you so much for having me tonight.
Oh, thank you, Emone. No thanks needed. We really appreciate you taking your time out, not just to come and speak to our listeners, but to take every day of your life and focus on giving back to the next generation. Yes. Because that's extremely important.
Literally all we can do. Like, what's the point of being here if you're not preparing for the next?
And we'll love to have you again sometime. So anytime you want to come back, Emone, you know you're invited. Anybody in your crew's invited. So I know I'll see you back sometime soon. And
definitely.
Yes. I want to take time to give a special shout out to Playground Studios.
Hey, Playground Studios, thanks for having me.
Yes, located right here in the heart of D.C. You please contact Playground for any professional recording needs. They have an awesome studio set up, and they're here to provide you with professional services. Also, check out innerflydom.com. That is INNERFLYDOM.com, home of the If Bear. And we cannot forget BTF Clothiers. Behind the Facade Clothiers, they are dedicated to eradicating the stigmas associated with mental health. Please check them out at BTF Clothiers. That's BTF CLOTHIERS. They on Instagram. They're on most social media platforms. Please check out BTF Clothiers. So we've come to the end of our show. Thanks for listening, and thank you to our sponsors, and much love and respect to Miss Emone Jones once again for joining us today. And make sure you guys support Legit Swim Aquatics education program. Make sure to subscribe to Human Nature TV on YouTube and check out True Culture's exclusive news and interviews. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, the revolution may not be televised, but it will be broadcasted. True Culture on WEAC Radio.